Hello, MJT. Today I'm going to discuss with you what I've learned both in and out of the MJT classroom. And to start, I'm going to quote two different thinkers that we studied in class. One is Cosgrove, the other is Borowitz. Now, while neither of these actually changed my views on Judaism or tradition or religion, their ideas I think best reflect what I'm going to be talking about throughout the video. So I thought I would share them with you guys. The first one is Borowitz, and Borowitz talks about synthesizing these two ideas that are opposite each other. He likes to strike a balance between Buber and Rosenzweig. Buber, as I'm going to quote in the article by Rachel Sabbath Beit Halachmi, opened us to having a personal relationship with a real God. In other words, our relationship with God that we craft ourselves, that we kind of create for ourselves, that's entirely personal and not anything communal or doesn't follow any kind of set standard. And there's the other side, which is Rosenzweig, who brought us to to a commanding, demanding God, the God which insists upon a more serious observance of mitzvot. And this is the other side, obviously, which says that we should have a more traditional observance. Borowitz likes to strike the balance between these two ideas, and felt that within the framework of Torah study, you can have a personal relationship with God. So in other words, you should create your own personal relationship with God, but on the basis of Torah and mitzvot and traditional ideas. That's Borowitz. And Cosgrove teaches that time and time again, biblical and rabbinic literature has proven to be sufficiently limber to allow me to wrestle with the questions knocking at my being. The God I believe in is not monolithic, nor is the God of biblical and rabbinic literature, and for this I am grateful. My arguments for observance, belief in the afterlife, and notions of revelation are ever evolving, but have until this time been able to find a home in an interpretively elastic and pluralistic textual tradition. In other words, there's room for interpretation within a single text. There's not only one way to interpret a Jewish text or idea. So I'm going to give an example. Or before I do that, I'm just going to talk about how these two, how Borowitz and Cosgrove teachings relate. Borowitz teaches the idea of finding your own personal relationship through Torah and Judaism with God, and Cosgrove talks about how there's just all kinds of different ways of understanding a certain Jewish text or idea. So I guess to synthesize the two ideas, everybody can come to their own relationship with God and understanding of God, and no two are going to be exactly the same. To shed more light, I'm going to give an example now. One of the major issues when going on in Jewish religion is the ability to reconcile the issue of evolution and Torah. It would appear that the story of Adam Harishon and evolution are completely contradictory, and you cannot believe in both at the same time. So for many people, it's either throw away the Torah account of creation and only believe in the science, and alternatively, some people say let's throw away science and just believe what the Torah says. However, there's a third option, which is very interesting. If you read deeper into the Jewish texts and traditions, you'll find that the Rambam and many other Rishonim actually write that there were other creatures that existed before Adam Harishon that looked exactly the same. The difference between those creatures and Adam Harishon was that Adam Harishon had a neshama and therefore had the ability to speak, unlike the other creatures. This new way of looking at this issue, I think, opens up many different ways of interpreting the reconciliation of evolution and Torah, which I think is a beautiful thing that everybody can come up with their own interpretation. While this is true, while everybody has their own way of interpreting Judaism, we have to be mindful that not everybody is going to agree on how to interpret certain traditions. And Cosgrove writes, the great strength of a quest-driven faith is that it permits me to affirm my own beliefs, even as I develop, all the while respecting the integrity of another person's path. Unfortunately, the Jewish world is facing a serious illness, and that is the fact that we are very divided, and based on our disagreements of many issues. For example, the Orthodox have to stop, acting disrespectful towards the way that Reform and conservative practice Judaism, and the same goes vice versa. For example, at this year's J Street Convention, our representative Jan Schakowsky went up there and referred to her political or former political opponent as a Jewish Orthodox Tea Party Republican, using a negative connotation of the word Orthodox and Tea Party Republican. I believe that in order for the Jewish people to continue or to strengthen their bond, we need to set aside our differences and focus on what's similar. That's my spiel for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for listening.